Here we go. It's the Ball Report with Cooper Mays. A wide array of show topics today: social media, gambling, and fighting. How about that? That's a pretty good show, Coop. I'm going TMZ style today. What do you think?
Yeah, no. She'll get the clicks.
it's all it's all about the clicks. All right, so here we go. We appreciate you listening. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. We need you to do that, and it's brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Integrity matters. So we're doing this Celebrate 98 series. It's been 25 years since Tennessee won a national championship, and they were a team that was known to tussle from time to time. And I've covered an awful lot of practices before they were primarily closed, and I've seen quite a few tussles in my time. Practice fights. What do you think of them? Do they even happen anymore, Coop?
Yeah, I think they're great personally. They're good in my eyes. Heupel doesn't really allow it. He's not a big fan of fighting. He thinks if we fight with ourselves, how are we going to beat anybody else? Which is a good point. Probably is a pretty logical standpoint, but just as a grown man on the football field, you kind of want to sometimes. I don't know.
I don't play. I mean, by nature, you're butting heads constantly. At some point,
Really.
at some point, that seems like that would get on your nerves.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of grown men, a lot of physicalness to the game. I mean, it's natural to want to fight. Like I think you should. If you don't want to fight, sometimes you probably got something going on. So I would rather have to tell somebody to stop than to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What are some of the unwritten rules that somebody could cross that would make you want to fight, like a low cut block or something like that? What would be those things?
Yeah. I don't know anything cheap. I mean, kind of just like even takeaway football. Like it's kind of just like respect as like a man. I think I'm a I think we've talked about this. Big proponent of not spitting on people.
It's
I'm not.
disgusting.
Yeah, I don't. I think that is like a super definitive line that nobody crosses. So like if somebody spits on me, like it's all bets are off then. But I mean, I don't know, just cheap and like disrespectful stuff is not really tolerated by a lot of people, and I would say that I'm one of them. So
So
all that stuff
I'm
like that, just stuff that's like out of pocket. Really, I'm actually really easy to get along with. You could probably somewhat tell. Like I'm pretty cordial and pretty level headed, but some stuff just really irks my skin sometimes.
Yeah, no, you are very easy to get along with, and I certainly wouldn't want to fight you. Who are I don't think that'd go very well for Dave. Who are some of the guys on the the team either last year or this year that you look at? They may not even be the biggest stars. You're like, man, I'd tussle with him if I had to, but I don't want to have to.
Yeah, we used to talk about this a lot actually. So I don't know. There's definitely some guys on the team that you would not like. I think top of the list, like you're gonna probably put Big E, Elijah Simmons, just because he's so big and athletic. Like it's gonna be hard to like just overall, it's gonna be hard to knock him out or stop him from doing anything just because of how strong and powerful he is. Be a very hard match. I would put him at top, but Roman Harrison, Darnell Wright, I feel like would be a big problem, like a huge problem to fight. Um, there's a lot of guys that would be a big problem to fight, on UT football's team. But I'd say those two guys, probably Roman Harrison, Darnell Wright, and Big E. Those would be my three right there.
You'd have to be up there too, right?
I don't know. I don't think everybody thinks that. I don't know if everybody would agree with that opinion. I personally believe that I would be a troublesome matchup. I may not win, but like you're definitely not gonna have an easy time winning. I personally think that I'm a sleeper. You know what I'm saying? A dark horse. Because I've never been that guy though. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a little bit smaller, probably not the biggest or the strongest. So nobody really like looks to me for kind of stuff like this, but I'm very skilled in grappling. You know what I'm saying? Leverage, hand usage. I'm pretty top notch there. I think I would surprise a lot of people.
I'm telling you, you remind me of a buddy because you would be level headed in a fight. And this guy also taught wrestling, so he knew leverage. and he was level-headed because he had brothers that he fought with. You've got Cade. I think you would be top 3, top 5 toughest guys to fight on the team, and you can tell everybody I said that.
I would probably agree. I'm not a very what do they call it, egotistical or whatever. But I feel like a good projection will be top 5, top 3, somewhere around in there. I think I would be a very problematic matchup for most people.
It's it's interesting that Josh Heupel doesn't allow fighting because it does happen, and different coaches have different philosophies. When's the last time you've been in a practice fight?
Me personally,
Yes, yes.
oh man, I can't even remember. Uh, it's been over a year. I don't know. I'm not like I said. Usually everybody likes me. If you go to practice, you can tell. Like nobody really has like beef with me. I'm like usually I'm the guy that can like kind of get along with all crowds. So I don't really get into tussles that often. But nobody ever really does anything extra to me though because they like me. So like I don't have like a reason. I would have to be like doing something really OD just to like go out of my way and get in a fight. I guess because nobody really. I feel like people respect me to a certain degree, so they don't really do anything that would regard fighting.
Yeah, you kind of don't want to fight guys that you are intimidated by, but you also don't want to fight guys you respect too. There's something to be said for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a nice guy. I really am. Like everybody knows when the ball snap, like I'm gonna do my thing. But like I'm never gonna do anything cheap. I'm never gonna do anything disrespectful. Like I'm gonna treat you how I want to be treated. So nobody usually has a problem with me. I mean, even when we play other teams, usually nobody has a problem with me. Like I don't even talk hardly anymore because we're so freaking tired out there. But so nobody really has. I don't know, man. I'm pretty easy going, I guess. Who
It's
knows?
funny. It's funny you mentioned Elijah Simmons and Darnell Wright. Those are both 300-pound plus guys. And the other guy you mentioned was Roman Harrison, who is, I think, about what, 240 or so in there.
Yeah, running there.
Wh- Yeah. Why does he strike you as a super tough guy?
Just well, I know he's tough, but like honestly, a lot of it is just like have you ever seen him?
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah.
You ever seen him without his shirt off?
I don't think so.
Yeah, go. You could probably look up a picture and find it. Like, look at Roman Harrison. Like, I don't know if he has even more than probably 3% body fat on him. You can do it on your screen right now, probably, can't you?
Yeah, I'll try. It seems weird to be searching for Roman Harrison, Tennessee shirtless,
Yeah,
but
look
I'll
it
give
up probably. So
Yeah, he's pretty built. He's pretty built.
yeah, yeah, he's really built.
Is it with Elijah? Is he the most athletic big man now that Darnell's gone on to the NFL on your team?
I would say pound for pound. Yeah, yeah, pound for pound, probably the most freaky person on the team.
Yeah, and you told me that about Darnell early, and I was way ahead of the curve on that. When did you first see that out of Elijah?
Um, Kind of when I first got here. I mean, there's just not a lot of people that can like. It's just so rare to find somebody that's like 340, however much pounds he is, and can like actually be athletic and quick twitch. If you like, there's a lot of people that are big and strong, but there's not a lot of people that can like move. He moves like somebody that's a heck of a lot smaller than him. I don't know what their weight range I would put him at, but like he's very elite when it comes to his body and you know stuff that God gives you.
Yeah, what when it comes to the ceiling, and how much potential a guy has, where would you rank him among the defensive linemen on your team right now?
At the top, not saying he's number one, but like he's if there's people that are matching him, he's right up there with them. He's there, and I'm sure all the other D line would tell you that too. Like Elijah's just he's a different animal. Like he's very violent, very athletic, and just like so strong. Like I don't think there's anybody in the building at Tennessee that can match what he can do as far as like pound for pound. Like being able to move it the way he does at his weight and like being as strong as he is. Like I've told this story before. I saw him hit like 35 reps of 405 on squat. Like just back squat had like 405 and was just going up and down 30 plus reps and just was going to keep going, but our coaches made him stop. Like it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I don't know what that one rep max calculator would result in, but I think it would be like 800 plus pounds. That's insane.
Yeah, no. Whenever he's done with football, he could most definitely move into powerlifting and bodybuilding. Not bodybuilding, I guess, but powerlifting, strongman, whatever that is.
Yeah, he could be the world's strongest man.
Yeah, bingo. That thing. I mean, like seriously, like not 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 exaggerating. Like he's. I've never seen another human being that can move weight at the way he does.
Like those big round stone balls.
Yeah, I'm sure he wouldn't have that much of an issue, honestly.
It is the Vol Report, brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Integrity matters. You might not need a new unit, might just need a part, might just need, I don't know, go on. They'll take care of you at City Heating and Air Conditioning. Integrity matters, cityheatandair.com. So, one of the things I talked to Jacob about recently, Jacob Warren, who's also on our YouTube channel, and that is gambling has now become an issue at Iowa State and with Alabama baseball. And I'm wondering how much that's been addressed, just like anything else, of potential pitfalls to avoid.
Um, as far as the gambling, um, we actually just had a meeting on that, like maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. But Coach Hype was actually really good. He hits on the rules of the program like dang near before every meeting we do, or like once a week at least. Like everybody knows there's nobody that should not know exactly what our rules and expectations are. So no gambling is one of those, and it's heavily stressed. But we did a whole other separate meeting for gambling specifically because of those incidents. So it's pretty evident what is expected from Heupel, no doubt.
Yeah, and I
Which
think
is no
this.
gambling. I don't know if I mentioned that. I don't know if I exactly said that. It's no gambling. That was
Oh, no. I know that.
for sure.
But the scary thing is, and you're a grown individual. I mean, you're a man. Um, the scary thing is guys that were in your position just even 5, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, but much less 20 years ago, didn't necessarily have the money to gamble and it wasn't legal. Now it's so accessible. That's what's scary about college athletics right now to me with gambling.
Well, also it's so easy because you have like apps that literally you can a couple touches of the screen and you're already making a bet. Like I'm sure, not that I was around back in the day to bet, but I assume that it was probably a little bit less accessible to gamble on sports.
Oh yeah, it was very. Yeah, you had to go to the right bar and get a little get a little slip or something. It was
Right.
very shady.
Exactly. It's very accessible. Like everything else nowadays. I mean, everything's accessible to a fault almost how easy it is. But yeah, so it's definitely really enticing, I guess, if you have the money and it's really easy and you got that kind of personality that gets hooked on gambling. I'm personally not a gambler. I'm, you know, big cautious kind of guy. It would make me very upset to see like $100 just go down the drain on a toss of a coin. Personally to me, but who am I? Maybe I'm not.
No, you're smart. I'm I'm never going to Vegas again. That last time did its number on
Now, see,
me.
I can rock with that. I mean, I feel like that's like you go out to Vegas like one time and you play the slots machine. Like that's something else. But like if you have an app on your phone where you're constantly placing bets all the time, like that's excessive.
Yeah, and I know that, my son's around about your age, a little bit younger, but it seems to be a thing with some of his friends. It's not with him, and I just hope that they don't develop that into an issue because it suddenly is so accessible.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, the other thing I want to ask you about as far as big time rule issues is you're aware of the John Morant situation. I know you're a sports fan. We talked about it before we got started, but the other thing that is accessible is guns. It's perfectly legal. I think your dad and brother are big hunters. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so I think there's a certain status symbol with having a gun and having certain kinds of guns. And now with NIL, there's money to afford those type of guns. So how concerned should college fans be about that potentially cropping up one day?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, you don't really see too much of it in college football, I guess. I haven't. Not to obviously, John Morant's on such a high pedestal, kind of, with how successful and how good he is at the game and all the deals that he has and stuff. So that's pretty big time. But like I said earlier about Heupel talking about the no gambling or whatever, another one of our things, he doesn't want any of us to really have much to do with guns at all. Like he doesn't think we need to have them on campus, or not campus, but in Knoxville at all. Like he tells us, like, you don't need, like, we're in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's a safe place. It's a decent area. Like, you don't need to have guns. So that's another one of his standards, that he doesn't want us to be around guns. And I think that is probably the best thing that you can do for these kids, is if you don't want, people flashing them on live video and stuff. But it's just not a great look, man. If
No, I mean, you talked about losing $100. I think John Morant lost like $36 million because he didn't get a supermax contract from flashing a gun. How would you feel about that?
Yeah, it's an expensive gun. An expensive pistol for sure.
We all see the Josh Heupel that's affable. It seems like an approachable guy. And we talked about his relationship with players and the trust you have in him. But it sounds like to me from these two topics that when he kind of lays down the law on something, that the message is conveyed and there should be no question about it. Do you agree with that?
No doubt, no doubt. I mean, Heupel, like I said, he does it. At least once a week, you're seeing all the rules of the program. Like, one thing I will say about Heupel, that guy is, talk about, like, detail oriented and consistent and discipline and very, very clear communication, stuff like that. Like, you're never gonna wonder about what the expectation is. I will say that, like, it's very, very much conveyed. You're gonna do it right, or you're not gonna do it at all.
So you know where you stand. You and your teammates know what is against the rules and what's not.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yep. Well, I mean that's not always the case. I've covered other coaches for sure. He is Cooper Mays. I'm Dave Hooker. The Vol Report brought to you by City Heating and Air Conditioning, cityheatandair.com. Integrity Matters, 50 years in Knoxville. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports. Don't forget, like and subscribe.